right, everybody. Welcome to the impromptu version of Much Ado About Dota. I am here with our lovely panel: Dignitas AUI 2000, Liquid BuLba, Kaipi EternaLEnVy, Empire twiSta, and the lovely TobiWan Kenobi. If you notice, spit-wad isn't here, so I'll be doing the moderating, I guess, for this show. And obviously, you know what this is about. TI3 Qualifiers. The TI3 Qualifier teams just came out, and everybody's got a shitload to say about that. So here we go. First of all, if you guys have been living under a rock for the last, I don't know, hour and a half, the Western qualifier teams are Absolute Legends, Evil Geniuses, Mouse Sports, Rock's Kiss, Empire, Icy Cup, Cupid Red Pandas, DD Dota.
This is also for the TI3 qualifiers, by the way.
Yes.
Just I give you that one, man.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, these are for the TI3 qualifiers. And the Eastern qualifiers are First Departure, Neolution, International, Tongfu, Vici Gaming, Rattlesnakes, Rising Stars, Myth Trust, and Mineski. And so let's just fucking go around. What do you think about these teams? What do you guys think of these teams? By the way, I have no fucking document. I have nothing. There is like zero preparation for this. We're just gonna fucking go off. I haven't shaved, so everyone that gives me shit about my mustache or whatever, fuck you. Alright. Guys, what do you think about the teams?
I want to hear from BuLba first, because BuLba's always got an opinion on everything.
Dude, I am so disappointed, dude. I have an exam tomorrow. This was disappointing. I was waiting all day, and that was the worst feeling, because I knew it was going to be today. And you might think, oh, you're not actually on the team, but I'm actually pretty invested with them. Like, I'm good friends with everyone on that team, especially, obviously, Envy and RTZ. So that was disappointing. I tried my hardest. I recommended them to everyone. I said that they have the potential to beat everyone. I'm pretty sure they do. Like, we've played all those teams, and by far they have best picks, the most stable playstyle, and people might flame the roster changes. They might say, oh, it wasn't unnecessary, but come with me. He might have his faults. He might have his flaws as a player, but individually skilled, he's always been a good player. He makes the right decisions, and on RTZ, he might not have experience, but individually, I think he's probably up there as one of the best players in the West. And you might say half the time I'm trolling about it, but honestly, I really do think he's good. So I felt they deserved it. Like they really deserved a chance to show themselves, and I'm so disappointed they didn't get one. Like it's really disappointing for me. That's basically my entire summary on that. At least, like, it's just disappointing. There's not much else to say about it, because it's like you have this high school player. He spends more time trying to get better at this game than I'm pretty sure like most of the players that get paid competitively to play this game, and that's actually quite depressing or quite sad, at least in the Dota scene, to say something like that. And it's sad to see all these players just hinge on their own reputation to get by in this game. And then when you see these players like Envy, and when you see these players called like RTZ, that are actually working hard to get better, and they just get they lose an opportunity like this. It's sad. That's basically my take on that.
But can you really select a team, though, with a brand new roster if you cannot say their history is legit?
Well, I think almost every single team that got invited had a roster change. So I don't think that argument is valid. Because how can you just use that argument only for my team when, I mean...
Well, how much of your team changed? How much of your team changed?
Barely anybody. Because, well, people think maybe if Zizo wasn't a picker, this wouldn't have happened. But I don't know why people assume that Zizo is the captain. He is not. Paladai is the captain. He's always been the captain. I really don't think anything changed. In fact, I think the team got a lot better.
Here's the thing about roster changes for me. I don't think anybody has really the standing or the knowledge to really judge a team's roster decisions other than the team itself. When teams make roster decisions, it's those 5 guys or those 6 guys that know what's going on in that team. They're making that judgment call. They know what's going on, and they have the most perfect information to make that call. Like, nobody else on the outside knows what's going on in that team, and when these teams make these changes, it's they're deciding that this is for the best. So
I don't know. There's much else to say about that because you're right. Like, every team had like big roster changes. Like to Empire, they had 3 people get replaced, and arguably Light of Heaven is probably one of the most accomplished players in Dota, probably the most accomplished player in Dota. But it's like you had 3 roster changes for that.
4 if you count Vigos.
Yeah, 4 as well. 4 as well. Vigos also got. He also is the 6th now, and then you have what's the other team? DD that had basically 2 big roster changes. And it can go on. EG had one. EG hasn't even played with the roster for quite a long time, and they just announced their official roster. I really don't think roster changes should matter. That's my honest opinion.
And I think by results, I do think, like, here's the thing though, like Empire, I mean Scandal and Blow deserve a spot. Wait, is Blow even playing? It says Cranage.
Yeah.
That was confusing as hell. Okay, so Blow is
playing.
okay.
Blow's
So
playing.
yeah. So I think they deserve a slot. I'm not sure if Light of Heaven deserves a slot. I might get flamed for this, but I mean, for this year, like I mean, he as a player he deserves it for sure. But I
Okay,
think
well,
I don't think there's any point in discussing who doesn't deserve a spot at this point.
Okay.
Just saying.
well okay well just
I mean, we
don't
have
get me
to
wrong. I
discuss
think
that
every
team.
team right now deserves a spot that got invited. So don't get me wrong. Every team that got invited right now, I think deserves a spot. But I mean, maybe they could have changed the number of teams or anything like that, because I feel like there's more than 8 teams that deserve a spot in the qualifier.
Well, the issue is, the issue isn't whether or not a team doesn't deserve a spot. It's whether one team that didn't get a spot deserves it more than another team.
Yeah. I was not going to that. I really do think DD haven't done anything. I mean, they have 3 DreamHack winners. They have GoBlack. I think GoBlack and Silent, they've been Empire, and they've done a lot this year. But DD as a whole hasn't done anything. And then after not doing much, they suddenly have a big roster change. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, but you had the same roster change, and you had it you announced it a few days before them. So I don't think that's the reason why they get picked over you.
I want to get rid of the roster change completely. I really don't think it should matter because every team had a roster change. But just from the results, I do think Kaipi has done a lot more than DD, especially this year.
In terms of individual results, I think if that's our metric, then Kaipi probably has the least background. Is that not fair to say?
Oh, wait. Can you repeat that again? I don't understand.
In terms of individual player results, like
Oh.
GoBlack and etc. from Empire results and stuff like that, Kaipi probably has the least individual results. You have RTC who doesn't have anything, right? The other 3 in Kaipi, come with me. I mean, he's been around, but he didn't really do that much. The other 2, you won DreamHack, which is really big, but the other 2 didn't really accomplish much in Dota 2 either.
I think.
So if we're just looking at
in Dota 2.
yeah, I mean, you can't say Dota 1 from 5 years ago, right? It's not enough.
Well, I think Paladai has been in Kaipi for a long time now, and Kaipi has always done fairly well. Even last year or this year, I'm not sure which year it was, but they did win 2 Ghost. They placed first in one Ghost League, and they placed second in the other Ghost League.
I mean,
it was the first, I'm not sure what they had. They had rankings for Ghost Leagues, but they had the one that had Navi in it. So,
I didn't know Kaipi existed until you joined. If that's.
Yeah, but I don't.
I mean, at the same time, I did.
Yeah.
But
that's-
okay, so
But,
here's
that means they're not
Valve
screaming the
should know
top
this stuff.
teams then.
okay. Well, here's I knew Kaipi existed, but I didn't know iCup was actually still around for a while. I mean, they weren't. I don't think they were scrimming top teams either. Here's the thing.
No, iCup scrimmed a lot of the top teams. They spammed the Poco script route.
So did Kaipi. I saw them spamming that shit too. I mean, here's, I guess, okay. This is my theory behind why you guys didn't get invited over other teams that had roster changes. All these other teams, they switched out players for other players that had a lot of competitive experience, that have a lot of official matches under their belt. Whereas RTZ, despite being the best player in North America, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that experience. And
So we're going back to roster changes.
No,
No, it's not
we're
roster
going back.
changes. It's about the individual accomplishments
This is
of the
about
players.
individual accomplishments.
The
at the
players
same
have
time,
histories, right?
at the same time, that's just my theory. At the same time, you also have to weigh those individual results against the results of the team overall. I mean, which is more important? Which is a better indicator of future success, sort of thing. So as a core, I think Kaipi has accomplished more than some of
I want to add, like,
the
after
cores of other teams.
after
like,
the
maybe
roster
TD.
changes, all the teams did nothing because the roster change was so recent. So it's hard to use the team thing as a metric. So if they had to use one metric that was more accurate for such a prestigious event, they would try to go with the more quantitatively viable one, right? Like, I think that there should have been like some sort of open qualifier for at least one qualifier spot since it's such a big tournament. But in terms of like something that they could logically argue, it sort of makes sense.
Okay, well, twiSta, as someone who just joined a team, who what are your thoughts on this? What should they have done, or whatever?
Honestly, I don't really know like what they base their invites on. If it was just like individual achievements from the players, or if it was like team achievements, but if it was like achievements that's been done for the past 6 months, then I think KP should have been like on there, definitely. That's what I think. Because when you look at ICUP, the only major things that they've done lately is 1 Tech Labs and 2 games in Tech Labs, and that's it. They haven't done much more. Sure, they've been around for like ages and whatnot, but they haven't really shown anything in the community like that they deserve to be in here as much as KP does. But that's my opinion.
I agree with what AUI said for like accomplishments as a whole. Like, I mean, for each individual player added up. I do agree. I think Kaipi has the least for all the teams that were invited, maybe except Icy Cup. But if it's just like this year, what we have done, I think we've done a lot more. I mean, we've played almost every tournament. We still scrim a lot. I mean, people don't know that we scrim a lot, but we play tournaments. A lot of the teams that got invited, they didn't even participate much in tournaments. They just went AFK for a long time, and because all of a sudden they accepted these really good, famous players, they were invited to the qualifier. And I think that's bullshit.
It's really unfortunate because everyone here put Kaipi in their top 4, right, from last episode. Like, they put them in the top half of the qualifiers. So, like, in terms of like skill and what I thought the teams were going to do, Kaipi would have been really far up there if they didn't win it.
I mean,
scrim-wise, we do really well against everyone who's been invited to a tournament. Everyone, like, really, really well.
Yeah, and in your last matches, I think you've beaten everyone except for Mo's, just in the last match. And
we haven't played Mo's in matches.
Yeah.
But here's how I see the Western the qualifiers in general. It's basically, I mean, it should be a power ranking, right? Of how you feel these teams are going to do. Who do you think is going to be able to compete against the invited teams? So in terms of power rankings, everyone put Kaipi as their top 4. I mean, Sam, you've been quiet for quite a bit now. What do you thoughts? BuLba?
I have to agree. Like, the thing about this is they've proven themselves versus every team. They play a lot, and like I don't want to call teams out or anything, but and I know I don't know. I haven't. One team is AL. I really haven't seen them play much at all. I know that recently they just got the invite, but it's just like it's so hard to just take out one of these teams and just say, oh, this team deserves it more. Like, obviously AL made it to EMS, and it just I don't know. It's just like I feel like it's kind of a snub. And as for the actual thing where with the iCup, they did win that one LAN, but I know that iCup they've been having problems. Like, I remember in the stream like last month or something. Like I've barely ever seen them play in these like tournaments and go far besides the actual LAN. So I just feel it depends on this one situation.
Wait, did they win that LAN?
No, they got second.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't
Second
win that
place.
So they got second, and I mean, Part of me says if you guys did not have that roster change, would you have gotten the invite though, Envy?
I think so.
100%.
I think there's many ways we could have tried to get into an invite. One way was just to not have a roster change. The other way is to hide the fact that we had a roster change. And I mean, maybe we could have like asked for a sponsor or whatever, like anything to get our names out there. But I don't want to do any of these. Like I felt like winning the qualifier. I mean, that it's really good to be able to win the qualifier and go to TI. But in the end, I think what a team needs to do is to try to do their best and try to win the whole thing. Like just try to keep going. And I really don't think with a Rise or a Zizo we could have done that because of not really skill issues but internal issues. And I mean I don't regret having the decision of adding a TZ or come with me to the team, even if it affected our qualification spot, because that was the right thing to do for the team.
And even with that, there's no way we can say it's roster changes that cost you your spot. Like that just wouldn't make sense, right?
I think it makes sense, but I mean, I can't dumb it down to one thing, that's for sure, because I don't know what happened like, exactly, but I do think it played a large factor in what happened.
Toby, what about you?
Well, you guys are talking about having KP as one of the top fours, and while Envy, I'm not going to deny the fact that KP definitely performed well recently. I would probably sit on the other edge of the bench saying, in 3 months' time, is the team going to be still playing as well as all these other teams that are competing here? And as far as it goes with DD, AL, EG, Team Empire, Icy Cup, Rocks, Kiss, and Mouseboards, I would say no. I would say all of these teams would probably be performing better than KP would in about 3 months' time. And I say that because I haven't seen your team recently with your new roster actually perform amazingly. Like winning one game here, one game there. It could be other teams getting used to your lineup. The changes come so late, it's impossible to say, yeah, KP, definite in the top four. You can't say that. In fact, I was pitting the other 7 teams, which I just said, as 100% invites, because their players have proved themselves most recently, and with their rosters, they're enough to say in 3 months' time, when the international comes up, these teams will be worthy and will be able to compete with the other invited teams. The only team I had a question mark over was actually the QPAD Red Pandas, because for me, they haven't proven anything. Even with them like training in a team house and everything else, they were the only toss-up between KP and as well as QPAD Red Pandas. They were the last two, which I wasn't sure about for this top 8.
How can you say that DD, you know that they would definitely perform better in 3 months? How can you say that for any of the teams? And every team had a roster change, and the same can be said for every team. We don't have no idea what they have done or what they can do with the roster change. No one has really played a game.
You have no idea what a team's going to do, but you're also playing with players which are not that famous and publicly known and also have a history in the scene. So if you're going to judge this from a perspective of we're not part of the internal squad, then you'd say, yeah, KP, they don't look as strong. If you're going to take everyone as individuals, put them into a 5-team and say this team will perform well, you don't know that. And you can't judge that. So what you say is, like, you've been using DD as an example. You've got Socks, Funzy, as well as Bucking Map. These 3 players have played together since the dawn of Dota 2. They competed at the first TI1, if I'm not mistaken. These guys won an international with Cinderin. These guys have been around forever. They've traveled to ESWCs, they've traveled to every single LAN event. You would trust these 3 guys together. And then you take Silent and Godblack, also 2 players that know each other very, very well and have moved together. If I would take that, I would see them as 3 guys that know how to play together and 2 guys that know how to play together. And that, for me, says that squad, in the end, has a better chance of playing better as a 5-man squad. Then I would say you add Come With Me, who's known to be unstable and to jump around different teams. You know that's to happen. You've got a bit of an unknown player. You yourself, like, how long have you been in the Dota 2 scene? Sure, you've been there at the DreamHack finals. That was fantastic. But then a lot of that praise would have been left with no Tidehunter, now Alliance. So you can't really take a claim to that, even if you were the captain at the time. You can that's clout for you, but that's not clout for the team. That's not clout for your team now to get invited in. And this is something you have to understand. It's not just about the qualifier right now and who will play better. It's who can play better now and also have a chance in 3 months' time, and then judging that when all the teams basically go stupid shit and decide to change all their rosters beforehand.
Okay. I do agree with a lot of things you say, but I mean, a lot of the teams that were invited have not played together. They have not scrimmed. They have not been dedicated for a long, long time. Whereas, Kaipi before I joined, and myself before I joined, and a lot of the players in Kaipi were practicing quite a lot from the beginning of the year and even before the year starts. So,
But that
like,
doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. It
I
doesn't
mean,
matter if a team practices and they really deserve to go there because they put in the hard yards.
but how can you say a team that just because they have like these known players will perform well, and they deserve an invite just because they have performed well in the past when they haven't really practiced, versus teams that have shown that they can do well and they have practiced
It's
and they're
It's
trying to get
difficult.
better as much as possible.
Okay, well let's twiSta. Since
Yeah.
as the only European player here,
Mhm.
who would you rather? Are you more scared to go up against a team that has a reputation for working really hard and just putting in all that time and the dedication over however long period of time, or a team that you don't know whether they work hard or not, but they have, I guess, a better pedigree?
I would honestly be more afraid of the team that's working hard and putting a lot of like hard work and effort into like becoming better, not only as individuals but also as a team. That's how I
We
feel.
played you guys like 10 times in the last like week, so that might be biased. But yeah,
Okay.
in scrims.
Well, okay, I guess you might have compared Envy. You might have compared yourself to DD Dota, but with the players on that team, it's hard to say that they don't deserve an invite.
No, I said
What?
I said plenty of times that every team that
Yeah,
got in deserve it.
that's not what I'm getting at. That's not what I'm getting at. So, but what I'm saying is that the actual team, I mean the elephant in the room that people are comparing yourselves to, is Icy Cup. So, I guess to the
Why is it?
panel,
Icy Cup, Q-pad.
I mean,
Icy Cup Q-pad.
well, first off, I know people have been talking bad about Cuba, but I mean, they practice for so much, and I think they deserve
They're
it.
in a similar
They do
spot as
really well
Kaipi,
too.
right?
Yeah, I think they do fairly well. Didn't they get first place in a pretty big tournament? Take on Navi and they take games off of like many of the top teams. Yeah, they did.
They haven't won any big tournament. I mean, they're
It wasn't
doing
it wasn't a huge tournament, but they did win a tournament, and it was like against AL in a best of 5, right? I think it was $3,000, $5,000 for first place. So that's
No,
that's
it was
SK trophy,
$1,500. $1,500 for
$1,000.
SK or something.
okay.
SK.
But I mean,
Okay, so-
that's still decent. And they've been playing tournaments. They've been in every tournament. They're doing pretty well. They're taking games in a best of 3 or even taking best of 3s off good teams. So I think QPAD deserves it for sure. Let's just talk about IC Cup. I think
yeah.
Cup.
I really don't think you. I don't know. I don't like talk. Like, are you guys sure you should talk about like who deserves it or not?
Oh no! We're just gonna say who's better than who. Right now, right now, and then 3 months down the line. Since this is a panel, we got a bunch of pros here. We're gonna go down the line, and who do you think is gonna be? Who do you think is better now, and who do you think is better is gonna be better 3 months down the line? Yes, it's speculation. Yes, it might not be accurate, but your best professional, educated guess. Since I started with twiSta last time, I'm just gonna go down the line of my Skype call, and Kurt, left to right, you're you're the first. So Kaipi, IC Cup, right now and then 3 months down the line. If we were gonna play them,
Off skill,
who would
win a
rather,
game between the two?
No,
Kaipi
not
would.
just. Okay.
They
Well,
would-
and okay. never
Kaipi
mind.
would have a higher chance of winning the qualifiers than IC Cup, but like that's I don't know. It's hard to say that's what the international has been about by the precedent they set too, right? Like on the East Clyde qualifier, they did invite Chainstack, and Chainstack has a lot of potential. They've been doing pretty well, haven't they?
We can talk about that as well once we get to that side. Okay, and then 3 months down the line, who do you think is gonna do better? Kaipi or Icy Cup? Just based off what you know. Doesn't have to. Nobody's gonna quote you on this. So I mean, nobody's gonna be like, is gonna quote this fucking episode and be like, "No, Curtis Ling, you were wrong."
Howie, I'm going to quote this episode at you.
Probably will. Wait, didn't I already say Kaipi? Are you still asking me?
Oh no, that was for now, and then 3 months down the line, and then
Oh,
3 months later. Still Kaipi?
Yeah, Kaipi, yeah.
All right, Sam, you're next on my list.
I think, my honest opinion, of all the teams, I think Kaipi had the most individual skill in this qualifier, and they had the best strategy. So I have to say Kaipi now, and I think they had the most potential as well. So that answers the other question. That's my sincere opinion.
Oh, that's not spit-wad. Never mind. Envy, you've obviously answered that question. So Toby, what do you on Icy Cup or Kaipi? You answer. I guess you made your opinion known about DD Dota, but as far as Icy Cup goes,
See, for me, Icy Cup was always a team with a lot of potential, and their performance at Tech Labs kind of cemented that. And for me, that would be just enough of a reason that they deserve an invite. But you are right. Like it could be tossed up if it should be Icy Cup, if it should be KP, or if it should be QPad Red Pandas, or AL, or DD, or Rockskiss. Got all these damn teams together, which have got so much potential, so much talent, that you got to draw a line somewhere.
yeah. So where's the line for you? Answer the question. Kaipi.
Damn you! I thought I managed to have made that beautifully.
Yeah, Kaipi or Icy Cup? Come on.
Why are we fucking picking?
Well, people want to know our opinions.
Is-
We got a
is
fucking
it-
panel here. I don't have a document in front of me, so I'm kind of just fucking winging it.
So you want us to choose sides? All right, I'm an IC Cup fanboy.
All right.
I would have gone with IC Cup.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And twiSta, I think you might have said this before, but there are a bunch of flames, so I don't remember.
Like, I didn't say anything about this before. Like, what I said is, if we're gonna base it on performance for the last 4 or 5 months and what I think would happen in the next 3 months, I would say KP.
Okay,
my
and then who do you think is a stronger team between the two, now and then in 3 months' time?
So it's a hard one, but I still think KP would do better. Mainly because they work harder, like they scrim a lot more than iCup. From what I've seen. Because we scrim every day for like 6 to 10 hours ourselves, so.
I still don't.
I see your messages.
Okay. I know you guys are talking from a player perspective and saying, oh, because we scrim really hard, because we're practicing like 10 hours a day. Like, I sit on the other end saying, I don't see all that kind of stuff, and I will never take that kind of stuff into account. A team could practice as much as they want to, but if they can't compete, if they can't actually display publicly that they can win, and they could win in multiple areas, be it LAN event or online event, like Virtus Pro, they sucked at LAN. Like, they sucked so bad it almost split up the team at the last star ladder. But they still got an invite because the players have just got a huge amount of results in the online portion.
How
And
many
the
lands
roster
have Virtus?
itself.
How many lands have Virtus Pro been to?
With this one team, with this new roster, one.
Is
No,
that
two.
a two? I mean,
They
is,
met
is
Tech
two?
Labs. Tech Labs and Star Ladder.
Was that with this new roster though?
Yes,
Oh,
both are
Okay,
like, same
so
roster.
Okay.
up two-ish lands. Is that? I mean, is that a? I mean, is that an accurate sample size? I mean, is that a sample size that we can really go off of? I mean, maybe their first land they have nerves. Is there? I mean, are they going to get better after that? Is that something to take into account? I mean, I'm just throwing shit out there, but. So if you were going to base these qualifiers, so we talked about player skill and I don't know the potential of these teams doing well. Are there any other reasons to invite a team to a qualifier that you think are merit worthy?
Is this a
Sam?
question to somebody? Yes, Sam.
Sam, I'm just gonna go for Sam.
Wait, can you repeat the question again, like the second part of it?
Oh my god. Are there any... Okay, so besides potential performance, are there any other reasons to invite a team to the qualifiers?
I think stability, but think about
Do you think is stability a part of performance?
Stability doesn't count this qualifier because no one's fucking stable.
yeah, that's what I'm. Like everything just went ham, so I don't know. I don't envy Ice Frog's job at all, this qualifier, because it was damn hard. My opinion, I already voiced it on Twitter. There should have been maybe more teams, or there should have been a qualifier for a qualifier, but I don't know how legit that is. So
the really funny thing is, I'm wondering if teams like QPad, Red Panda, Absolute Legends, and Rock's Kiss, and even IC come to that merit. Even also like Mousesports and EG, like they changed one player in their roster. If these teams got through because at the end of the day they looked to be the most stable. Because I remember the whole thing around TI2, like when I got my trip to Valve to do some recording for the documentary, the one thing they basically said is when you go back to the Dota 2 community and you start talking loudly, the one thing you should say is stabilize your rosters, don't fuck it up. And what happened in the last like 5 days or something like that, every single roster for any possible qualified team fucked it up completely. No one was stable, no one was ready. Like I know you guys were talking before saying that you're supposed to change your rosters because this is what's better for the team. But couldn't you have worked that out 1 month beforehand as opposed to like getting to this point where you say, oh, now I'm not getting an invite because everything was just so fucked up because everybody changed and yeah.
I think the problem is because we tried. You try to fix everything, and when it doesn't work out, at the very end, you're like, shit, we have to change it. And I think that's why every team decided to change at the very end, because people do try. I mean, people don't just randomly have roster changes. It's something that goes on over some time period.
Yeah, no one really plans to have a roster change.
Alright, so I guess the question is would it been better to increase the pool of invited teams to the qualifiers?
Or have a mini qualifier.
Or have a mini qualifier?
I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, right?
I get probably not. I mean, everybody would like more games, I guess, and we don't know the logistics of.
Then what are you going to do for Southeast Asia? Because Southeast Asia runs by the same rules. Like Europe as well as America might have this great depth of teams, but Southeast Asia, like how many people who follow the European scene or even just like slightly tune into the Southeast Asian scene could pick 12 teams, even the 8 teams. Like how many people actually know who Rattlesnake First Departure is Rising Stars? Like names like Mineski, Tong,
Is that really relevant to picking teams?
Yeah.
Because the Western scene should be able to pick their teams. They shouldn't have to care about the Eastern teams because they should be picked by the people who know the scene well.
But you've still got to have both the qualifiers with the same opportunities.
Yeah, you have to. But what I think it should have been done different is if it was really so hard to pick like teams, as everyone like makes it out to be, and it's quite obvious that it's really hard because this year's qualifier is a lot harder than last year, and everyone can agree on that. I think having like 4 teams that haven't really shown that much the last couple of months and who can prove themselves should have just played a mini like qualifier to take the last 2 spots, because I think that For Love and Chainstack should have been in the Eastern qualifiers.
Just one note though. God's actually messaged me. He said that Chainstack doesn't exist and For Love don't have King J anymore. So
okay.
How recent is this?
I don't know.
But still, like there's other teams that should have been there in that qualifier as well, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
Yeah, and I don't know, at least some. I mean, do you guys like the part where the international is so heavy on invites throughout the qualifiers? I actually like the tournament itself being heavy on qualifiers just because it's the international. Sorry, heavy on invites. But how about for the qualifiers? Do you think that there should at least be like one open spot?
Yeah, definitely.
And then you enter the world of StarCraft 2, where we see, well, maybe Tongfu will move from China so they can play in the open qualifier and qualify through the Western scene, because I think they got a better chance there.
I mean,
It's-
can't it depend? I mean, there's so many roster changes that, I mean, if the roster changes didn't happen, maybe they can just say, oh, okay, these teams are this good and they deserve it. But with all these roster changes, everything's so confusing. Why couldn't they just have another qualifier just because of the changes?
And also, I don't think we should take Blizzard's lead as our example, because that did not go well for them. Like, I don't think it'll be the same thing.
The WCS allowed, they didn't have region locking, so you could have Korean players play in the North American portion of their World Championship series.
You could only play in one of the qualifiers, though. So if you did play in the Western qualifier, you couldn't play whatever the.
Yeah. But you get the gist of that. So I mean, is this a bad thing that teams are going to get snubbed regardless, and we're going to have debates about this, and people are going to be mad? I mean, yeah, I don't envy Ice Frog's job. This is probably hard as fuck for him. This is probably why I can see this being the reason why the announcement took so long. What, this was supposed to be out earlier today, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, earlier in the morning.
Yeah. So I mean, I can see this being the reason why it was so delayed, because this is a hard decision. But is that okay?
I think it sucks that the players have to suffer like this. They should definitely have just made a qualifier. Like, yeah, it really sucks. I mean, today was one of the worst days. I mean, even before the invite was finalized, like, I just sitting there wondering the whole fucking time whether we're gonna get invited or not. This whole entire week, actually, it's just awful. It's not. And I'm sure it's not just me who's been like this. I'm sure a lot of people have been. It's just really, really awful.
And if anything, hopefully Vov can at least learn from it. I mean, it's not much, really. Because apparently they didn't learn from last year, so who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure you felt the same way last year. I mean, you guys were doing so well, and
Well, I guess on that note, I got a question from Mers for you, Kurt. He wants to know. It's not a troll. It's not a troll question.
Okay.
He says, "Can you ask Curtis to give his perspective, since he was in a similar position as Envy last year on Pot and Bottom?" I think our positions were a little different, but anyways, Kurt, go.
I think I actually don't know what we accomplished by then. I think we're a bit more accomplished by Kaipi and a bit more stable. Would that be accurate? But I think that Kaipi has dedicated more into, like, a bigger investment into getting this.
They've sacrificed more. They sacrificed
more. But I think we had a bit more by the time. I don't know. But anyways, my opinion is that, like, Kaipi, maybe you didn't get invited to this one, right? But if you guys stick around for a year, and you guys are good enough to have been invited to this one, or to be invited to qualifiers for this one, then you guys will be invited to the international next year. Like, RTZ, this Kaipi might be his first team basically, right? But I played like 2 games for Water, and then Pot and Bottom was my first Dota 2 team. So, like, if you stick with the team and you guys stick together and you guys are good, then you guys will get into TI4. So I really hope that you guys do stick.
I remember when you told me that when we were sitting up in the Mouse Sports booth at TI2, and you're like, man, we're sticking around. No matter what happens, we're going to be there for TI3.
Yeah.
It was all me. I did it.
Honestly, it was Monolith, dude.
Yeah, it was. But
Charlie
you
taking
guys
credit.
Stick around. The international is a big tournament, but it's not the only tournament.
I don't know. In the Dota scene, it feels like
it really
is on this. It is.
Yeah, it kind of really is.
You think international is everything for every player that wants to play Dota?
I think so too.
We didn't get to go to TI2. We still did fine for ourselves, right?
But the amount of I don't think scope of how much you guys put is comparable at all to what NB did. Honestly, I'm saying that right now. It's something like, it might be biased, but it is true. So,
Dude,
as the scope of that.
I mean, no, I don't think most players have done what Envy has had. I mean, he took a year off school, and he put a lot of time into this. Played on a European team. I mean, nobody
Yeah, but you can't
Because
base
You
that.
can't say that either. Like, Fog
Yeah,
quit
yeah,
his
I'm-
job, stuff like that. I quit my like second job too. Like,
yeah, and
I'm
like
thinking-
snaking. Yeah. I mean, snaking also quit a lot of his school stuff.
I'm not comparing this year. I'm comparing the last year when you guys were on podium bottom. The amount I
yeah,
did.
I quit my second job. Fog quit his job. Like,
At that
everyone
time?
sacrifices. Yeah. No, dude, we were playing like 8 hours a day trying to practice with 2 jobs and school and stuff. Like, everyone sacrifices stuff. You can't just say one player sacrificed more, so he deserves more. Or else you'd be looking at some guy who's like, I don't know, like some guy who's like then you would have to include people who aren't at the top or are like trying to make it super hard. Like the people in StarCraft were like, oh, I'm going to go for bronze master, streaming 18 hours a day.
Well, I'm not sure if that's what Sam was trying to say, because I think his main point was that, I mean, for Dota, especially for us that don't get that much salary, and where our living expenses are so high. I mean, the international is pretty much like the tournament we have to play, because it's like one of the only.
I disagree with that in terms of trying to live off Dota.
That's probably
Because-
true. There are probably more
Because
stable sources.
I
of
know
revenue.
I can make a living off this right now, and I didn't do anything with the international.
I guess.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, but it's extremely hard to do what you say. And
It is.
I mean, when it comes to streaming and stuff, I mean, it's a competition, and I mean, it's even there's way less like slots for streaming, in a sense.
Well, there are other things than streaming though, like coaching. If
I
you
mean,
put a very
It's a
reasonable
combination of
writing
things.
guides,
You have to do a lot, and branch out into various different avenues. You can't do it just off streaming. You can't do it just off coaching. You can't do it just off tournament wins or player salary. You sort of have to do all of those things. This,
But I
of course,
mean-
depends on where you live, but
I mean, what's your reason of playing professionally, AUI?
it's fun.
I mean, but in the end though, like, don't you just like, isn't your one goal just to win a TI? This is not the one thing that sticks out in your mind. Like,
I mean, it's sort of like the ideal dream, right? But I don't think it's my only goal with playing Dota. If it was my only goal, then like if that was like my, sorry, I don't know how to articulate this properly. If that was the only thing that I cared about, I'd be not streaming at all. I'd be doing what I do with Dota very differently.
I think people have different opinions. I know several pro players that would say that TI3 is everything for Dota. I mean, I'm not gonna say it for like them, but you know, I'm pretty sure Fear cares a lot for TI3. I personally, I think it's really
I
important.
mean, TI3
I think
is so
everyone
big, but
cares
it's not
about
that.
TI3.
I know. I mean, not TI3. I mean, I'm talking about like the entire like. Without TI3, you just feel so much more empty. And
It's really okay.
I mean, don't you, like? Isn't the scene built kind of on this one tournament though? Like, meaning the scene is in. Most people get motivated for this. Like, look at this roster changes. It wouldn't happen for anything else besides the qualifiers like this. Like, you have to admit all these roster changes was because of the qualifiers. So, it does at least say that.
well, does anyone have any strong opinions or thoughts on the Eastern qualifiers or the Eastern scene?
Well, I guess for love, I guess, and Chain Stack disbanded, right?
Yeah, For Love lost King J a few weeks ago, April 16th. And Chain Stack was really just a pub stack, I guess, apparently.
So just for G League, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but again,
So-
like we don't really have the background to talk about the Eastern scene, I don't think. Maybe like some of us watched the top, but I don't think anyone watched the lower teams.
So
Yeah.
nobody. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. Other than that, do you guys have any other thoughts, feelings, emotions, rants, whatever? Sam, you got anything else to get off your chest?
I said most of my dues.
So I want to like, I know it really sucks, Envy, but I want to ask you like, are you gonna still play? Because you took a year off school.
well, I talked on my stream before, and I did say that I am gonna take another year off. But to be honest, I did not even consider the possibility that we wouldn't be playing a qualifier. I think if I didn't qualify, and I just fucked up. I could put a lot of blame on myself, and but right now it's kind of iffy. But I will say that I think playing Dota, when I first decided to play Dota I knew that it would be really hard, and but I still thought it was gonna be really fun. And I think now as a player, I feel like there's a lot of issues of Dota. Like playing with a team is really fucking stressful. Pubs, anything is really stressful. The fans are really, they go one way and then they go the other way, and it's really weird and everything. The money is really bad, but in the end, even with all these problems, even though I'm not sure if I could be, even though I'm not sure if I'm capable of being good or anything like that, I still want to play this game, and I'm still gonna try for another year.
Gods will be very, very happy with you. If that
I
makes you
think
feel
we'll all be
better.
happy with that. And
Who?
I think
Who will be happy with me?
Gods just tweeted out that if you quit school only just to play for a year, then you shouldn't have started playing to begin with. So Gods will be very, very happy with you, Envy.
I don't know why, but this is what I want to do. It's really
I think,
awful. Yeah.
no, I think
What-
everybody that watches this game should be really happy for you or anybody that is this dedicated. And
one more thing.
has-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm pretty much done. Go.
Are you gonna be at TI3?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think there's a high likelihood I will be.
Like for anyone who's looking like Valve, Envy's good at analyzing stuff. Just saying.
And so is Clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Would you duo cast with Clairvoyance?
Oh my
That
fucking god.
It would be priceless at least.
All I can say is I do hear that Yafets is going to make a team to come to TI4, and that would be the Yafets of the East.
What
So
about the West?
the
We ever
Western
have a Yafets of the West.
The Eastern Yafets is going to make his mark on the same year as the Eastern Yafets. Shout out to A God.
Shout out to AGOD. RTC 2014. So, and with that, I think it looks like we're all done. I guess in typical Mad tradition, go around with shoutouts, shots fired, whatever the hell you want to do. So, twiSta, I'll start with you.
Shout out to my team and my sponsors, Seagate, Razer, Twitch. I don't have any shots fired.
All right. Toby, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Shout out to Working Skypes, because they're fantastic, and we have a good program. And shout out to all the teams who actually play in the US and the UC. This year around, we actually have a problem of too many good teams, as opposed to last year.
Aren't you excited about the future?
The future is amazing, man. The future
Can we
contains
do
more
a
than one rainbow.
predictions of the qualifiers now? So with these 8 teams, who do you think is going to win? Top 2? Because everyone said Kaipi last time, but obviously now it's not. So,
It'll depend on the groups.
so yeah, the group format's going to be.
Wait, is it double elimination? Yeah, what the hell?
It's an interesting double elimination where basically it's a double elimination, but the teams are basically split into 2 different parts. And out of that, you get 2 teams to qualify through, and then they play in the best of 5 final.
So it's 2 double elim groups in the group stage format, and then 2 group winners. Is that?
It's 2 double eliminations.
Or it's GSL style.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
full GSL style. I really like the format. I really like it.
It's a pretty good format.
Yep.
Yeah, but if I was going to say 2 teams which I'd expect to be in the final, my brain would actually go with EG and Team Empire, but I think Rock's Kiss as well as Mouse Balls can cause some upsets.
No DD.
No DD. I don't think DD can do it. Yeah, I would put Team Empire versus EG and Mouse Sports Rocks Kiss to come up behind him.
I'd put top 2. The second goes to wild card, right? So one of them will be EG, I think. Is Bambo and is gonna be at the house by the time qualifiers start?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And then the other team, I haven't seen Empire play much, but I actually think I think DD is really strong, at least in my opinion. So I have to say EG and DD.
Envy, what about you?
I think there's way too many roster changes, but I think EG will win the tournament. And if I can,
2.
oh yeah, I don't really know. I know who number 2 is actually. To be honest, I just think EG and that's it. There's way too many roster changes, and within those roster changes, I think one of those teams are going to be in the top 2. So it's too hard. Also, if I can add one more point to answering Court's question before, because people were asking me, am I going to do part-time school or part-time jobs or whatever like that. I think in order to do really well in Dota, to win a TI, I think you need to put in a lot of dedication. I do not think I can do that with both school or work. So I will definitely play full-time. Yeah.
All right. Kurt? Top
EG
2.
Empire.
twiSta? You can be biased.
I don't know what to say. I predict EG and DD in the finals. Like,
Not
against
you?
us. Against us, of course.
Okay. Of course. Okay,
What kind
well,
of player or captain would I be if I didn't trust in my own team?
It really does
What?
depend on the groups, though, right? Because if EG and
Yeah.
Empire in the same group, only one is making them out. If EG and DD's in the same group, only one's making it out. So this format,
Well-
it's sort of nice. It's sort of weird too, isn't it?
It's just so
Like, you
I don't
can-
like this.
You can. I don't like it actually, because you can
Yeah.
win or get in the top 2 without having to play a team that's better than you that lost to the first place finisher. So even if you're like the 4th best team, you can still come 2nd, or even the 5th best if you're going
Well-
for an extreme.
not looking at the groups, I'm gonna have to go with EG Empire. So other than that,
Just to think of the ultimate irony of EG Empire, DD, and Mouse Sports all end up in one group.
I mean, the EMS tournament showcase what can happen. I mean, it's completely
I would be
possible if they
stupid.
randomize it. Yeah,
I would
I
be
don't know.
fucking
I hate this. I don't like this format. Yeah, it's not fair. I think.
That's a
The
scary
thing is,
format.
the only way for every team to play each other would be to do a giant group stage and then seed off that to a double limb or something, right? Which is
I mean,
like a
for
round
a
robin.
tournament like this, I mean, what the fuck? Just make it as good as possible. I mean,
it
obviously
is.
there should be
it
time
is
limit.
huge, so.
yeah. I mean, sure there should be time limit, like, but I mean, they can still do it. I think 1 week, 2 weeks, it's fine. Yeah. It sucks that they're not doing what's best for all the teams.
Well, I think everyone's pretty much in agreement on that. And to go off where we left off, Envy, any final words, shout outs, whatnot, shots fired?
I think
Envy?
everyone's done, man.
No, yeah, I know. I meant any final words, shout outs?
What's your Twitter,
Envy?
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 Yes, I am.
Can you hear? Can you hear me?
No, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, I thought you froze for a second. Yeah, final words, shout outs, shots fired, whatever.
Why Valve? Why? That's it.
All right, Sam. Sam,
Yeah, hi. Shout outs
Hi.
to my team. Team Liquid and sponsors. Barracuda, Razor, Twitch, Shiny Things. And at least let us hope the qualifiers are entertaining. Because I'm pretty sure they will be. And there's going to be interesting to see who finally makes it. Because it feels like every team has a chance if they play well.
all right.
Also, can you take out the mute system? What the hell? If I want to mute someone, I just click the fucking mute button. I'm losing games. Solo queue with fucking emo when you're muted.
Christ.
Jesus, Kirk got muted.
It's so
I got muted for
stupid.
an offensive smiley face.
Dude, I don't even get. I get muted twice, and none of them was because I raged. Like both of them was because I lost the game.
I don't flame people unless they flame me first. Unless I know them.
Wait,
I
wait,
flame people I
They,
know.
what?
they can just like report.
Do I know you, Charlie?
Flame them.
I wish you didn't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, then you wouldn't queue with me.
They can report you though, even if you don't flame them. That's what
Yeah.
happened. Both times.
And it's an
actually.
automatic system, I think, right?
So
Which
stupid.
is
Like the whole stack just reports you, and then you're screwed.
Well. Anyways, Kurt, shoutouts, shots fired, final words.
Shout out to my team Dignitas and our sponsors Alienware, Intel, Scan, Multiplay, Twitch, Be Quiet, Kingston HyperX, QPad, Iyama, Western Digital, Sound Blaster, and Mad Cats. Shots fired at Merlini for not liking Beck, man. Like, what the hell?
Oh man. Alright. Well, I guess my final shoutouts are to Beck man. It's fucking awesome. I lost my shit when I first heard him.
Dude, who
And,
is he, dude?
Wait, you haven't seen it? Go watch the VOD. It's fucking hilarious.
You like me in
Like
chat?
what the fuck? I don't know. Somebody
Beck.
I don't know. I can't
Good
explain
job,
it. If I
guys.
explain it, it's just not as funny.
Jump, guys. Okay, I'm done.
Jesus. Anyways, shout out to that guy. Shout out to the Team Dignitas. They're putting a lot of shit into us for boot camp. And shout out to all our sponsors. Alienware, Intel, Scan, Multiplay, Twitch, Be Quiet, Kingston HyperX, QPad, Iyama, Western Digital, Sound Blaster, and Mad Cats. And shout out to all the viewers for tuning in on our impromptu emergency mad. Oh, fine. And shout out to fucking Blitz, you Domino's pizza whore.
Why would Blitz? You know Blitz begs for pizzas on my stream.
Yeah, I just called him out on it.
He actually begs for pizzas on my stream.
And he actually got them.
Yeah.
I know, he got like what,
$110
100
in
plus
pizza.
plus?
$110 in pizzas by begging. No shame, leech, mooch, etc.
There also needs to be an extra shout out to Demon, who just spilled Monster gaming drink all over his Razer keyboard.
Oh my fucking god. Hashtag dedication, hashtag hard work, hashtag road to TI3.
Hashtag for Kelly.
Hash...
Don't do it.
Oh god, Sam, you want to open up that can of worms?
Don't say
BuLba,
it.
you're a dick.
Don't say it, bro. Don't say it. I know. Okay, go ahead. Say it. I know you want to say it.
I'm not gonna say it, Sam, but someone else is fucking going to.
What,
Someone
hashtag
else
for the
did.
hand?
Oh shit, I wasn't gonna say that, but okay.
Just kidding.
Ashley?
Oh, there we go. For
Wait.
Ash. Oh, chat's already fucking on that, man. For Ashley.
Let me leave you with an Ice Mike quote.
All right.
I'm so ready for this.
Hey, do we need shots or something like immunity shit? Isn't that standard when you go to a 7th world country?
Oh damn! What?
No, dude, he's fucking worried. He has to go get a shot or some shit.
What
So-
is going to where?
We're going to China, dude.
Oh, right.
Oh my god, dude, it just flew over your freaking head. Whatever. We were in the joke.
I'm so sorry, Sam.
Christ, that was fucking clowny. Anyways, looks like we're all done. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That's it. See you guys on Monday.
Go Sam.